Welcome to White Regis TV Film Review and Preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This week, the Springsteen biopic, Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, was released on home video. The film stars Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen, as the film chronicles his personal and professional struggles during the conception of his 1982 album Nebraska and his subsequent star-making album Born to Run. Or Born in the USA, whichever one it is. The film also stars Jeremy Strong, Paul Walter Hauser, Stephen Graham and Odessa Young. The film was originally released in October, where it didn't do particularly well. So I watched the film for the first time this week. I'm not especially knowledgeable about Springsteen, so, come in, no expectations, and I absolutely loved it. As I said, I'm not particularly knowledgeable about Springsteen. I know a few song titles, never heard songs per myself, and yet I was drawn in by how powerful the film is. The directing is great. The director in the film, there's scenes where the director has an absolute respect for the quiet and silent and still, not silent, like quiet and still scenes, whilst also in other scenes lovingly showcasing music and the crafting of music. I thought Jeremy Allen White, Jeremy Strong and Stephen Graham gave great performances, and I particularly love the themes of how the film tackles, like using music as an artistic expression to help this iconic music figure come to terms with his own darkness. So I gave the film 5 stars out of 5, and it has replaced Frankenstein as the best film of 2025. Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere is available on home video now and is also streaming on Disney+. Oh, this one I've been excited for. This weekend, The Strangers Chapter 3 is released in cinemas. The film is the third and final film in Rennie Harlan's Strangers trilogy and stars Madeline Petch, Gabriel Basso, Emma Horvath and Richard Brake, reprising their roles from the previous films in the trilogy. The film revolves around Petch's Maya having one final confrontation with the Strangers that may involve her joining the group as the new wearer of the pin-up girl mask. So I know in the trailers there's been scenes where she's wearing the pin-up girl mask and she's witnessing them while they're torturing and killing people, directly with them. And this being somewhat involved in it, so I'm really excited to see how it plays out in the film. The previous films in the trilogy were met with terrible reviews from critics, but, I'm a critic, and as you probably know from this programme, I'm quite a big fan of the trilogy, and I've been a massive supporter of the movies of the trilogy. In fact, if you might remember from end of December, I gave Chapter 2 a very enthusiastic review on this programme, so I'm actually really looking forward to the third film. It's just for me. It's not that the films are brilliant, it's just I just enjoy them. I just think they're fun. That old adage, a film doesn't have to be, I don't know if it's an old adage, but film doesn't have to be, Oscar-winning, incredibly smart film. It just has to be something you enjoy, and, I'm enjoying the Strangers trilogy. So, the Strangers Chapter 3 is in cinemas now. Which means I probably won't get to watch it till, May or June, but hey-ho. Releasing in UK cinemas this weekend is the new Sam Raimi film, Send Help. The film is a survival horror film starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, and revolves around an employee and her boss as they become stranded on a deserted island after a plane crash, and they attempt to survive while tensions broil between the two of them. The film opened last weekend in the US to good reviews from critics who praise the acting, the writing, and the directing, especially as Sam Raimi is known for his work in the horror genre. You know, he became famous for doing the original Evil Dead trilogy, and then became more mainstream with the with his Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. But he's never forgotten his horror roots. Send Help is in UK cinemas now. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I'll be talking about Bugonia, the recently Best Picture Oscar nominated Yorgos Lanthimos film. I've not seen any other Yorgos Lanthimos film, and I'm starting with Bugonia, which I'm told that even hardcore Lanthimos fans are a bit on. So I'm probably starting with a weird one. But I'm only probably intending on watching 3 others of his, so not planning on watching the whole filmography. And also be talking about this new indie, indie crime drama film, Crime 101, starring Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo, and a bit of a reteam since Thor Ragnarok, so I'm keeping my eye on that. So, we'll be talking about it next week. See you next time.